Okay, guys, let's get this study guide done. The front page of this is a little bit weird. If you have not started it, I'm going to get you started on the front. And then I'm going to let you do the front on your own. And then you can go into Google Classroom once I post the key finished. And actually put your, check your work. But what I'm going to do, if you haven't already started this, it doesn't matter what you write, what order you write right here. These are the properties that we're going to put up here. So, I'm going to write them in, and then I want you, and so I'm going to kind of show you how this was supposed to go. It's a little confusing, but identity. And then you're going to look right here and put the definition and then find the example that goes up here. Okay? But this is, and so for the identity property, multiplicative inverse, the definition, and then you can get the examples down here. Commutative, distributive, well, I can't spell, and associative. So you're going to give the examples, give the definition, and then there's examples over here. And you can create your own, or you can use these, and then give examples of those. And so, the properties, they're actually listed right here. These are the properties that you're putting right here. Here's the definitions you're going to match to go here. Here's the examples that you'll match to go up there and put them in the right place. That was a little bit. So I'm going to let you do that page on your own. And then I will have the key for you to check your work. Mary used the expression below to calculate the amount of money she would earn in 1 year at her part-time job. All right, so remember, one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind in this unit, let's talk for a quick second about the things that we actually did in this unit, okay? So we had... we learned about the properties. We did the properties. We did the factoring. And area models. We did expressions. We translated them. And we did substitution. Plug it in, plug it in. Then we did equations. Actually, with expressions, we also, we combined like terms with equations. We did the distributive property with expressions. We did all of this with expressions. Then we started our equations, and we did one-step equations. We did two-step equations. And we did multi-step equations. And our multi-step equations are the ones that had the distributive property and the combining like terms. Okay? So that's kind of everything that we did in this unit. So that's kind of what this whole test is going to be over. So I kind of wanted to go, because we had to go back in time a little bit and think about some of the stuff that we did before fall break. Mary used the expression below to calculate the amount of money she would earn in 1 year at her part-time job. So here's the expression. Don't let all these words mess you up. Take that expression and do what this says. Write an equivalent expression to Mary's expression. Well, when I look at this expression, I see these parentheses right here. And so I know that this is going to be the distributive property. Now, I can do this a number of ways. I can do 12 times 150 and 12 times 70. And if I do that, I get 12 times 150 is 1,800. And 12 times 70 is 840. So my equivalent expression is going to be, because there's no variables here, it's going to be 12 times 150 plus 12 times 70. It wants that, I doubt it, but you might see 1,800 plus 840, but I doubt it. But writing an equivalent expression does not want you to give an answer. It's not wanting you to work it all the way out. This is going to be your equivalent expression. It wants you to just show the distribution, show the distributive property. This expression is used to calculate the taxes on Sarah's monthly earnings, where C represents the commissions on her sales. Write an equivalent expression to the problem above. Well, on this one, we can use the associative property of addition, and we could say 0.25C plus 1350. Because we could use the associative property and we could regroup that. Okay? Not expecting to work because we can't work these. There's nothing we can do to work them. Tammy scored M points in the first basketball game of the season. The expression below represents the number of points Tammy scored in the first 3 basketball games of the season. So, write an expression that is equivalent to the total number of points Tammy scored in the first 3 games. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to rewrite this without our parentheses. We're going to rewrite this without the parentheses, okay? So it's going to look like this. M plus 4M plus 4M minus 6. And when I do that, it makes it a lot easier to see that I have like terms right there. I have like terms. So I'm going to come right over here. I've got 1M, 4M, and 4M. And when I put those together, I get 9M. So all of that is equal to 9M minus 6. And 9M minus 6 would be your equivalent expression. It is an expression. It is not an equation. So we cannot do anything with them. All right. So 10 plus 2x minus 14. This expression and this expression are equivalent, which means equal, by which property? Well, if you look right here, the 2x minus 28, we had to distribute right there, so this is the distributive property. The distributive property is what makes those equivalent. Write a phrase that matches the expression. So this is going to be 4 times, remember how we talked about how to say that something goes in parentheses? So we're going to, the quantity of $12 plus 6 and a number. 6 times a number, I'm sorry. 12 plus 6 times a number, because that's being multiplied. 4 times the quantity of 12 plus 6 times the number. That is the probably simplest word. All right, just mark that out because loading doesn't help us any, does it? What is the first step to solve the equation below? The first step to solving... Now, when it's asking you for the first step, it is not asking you about locate the expression, draw a C and a V. Those aren't really considered steps. The steps that they want is the first step to solve it. What is the first mathematical step to solve it? And that's going to be to add 51 to both sides, because here's my variable term, here's my constant term. My first step is going to be to add 51 to both sides. Those other steps that we do are added steps to help you get through the thinking process of it, but the first mathematical algebraic step is to add 51 to both sides. What is the inverse operation needed to solve for G? G is our variable term. Here's our constant term. And the inverse operation that we need is addition. Because 154 is negative. Okay. So now let's solve 4 times x. All right. I'm going to be solving these kind of quick. But your flow map, we've got to locate our expression. Now we've got the distributive property. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 3 is 12. And we've got to bring down that minus x equals 15. Now we locate our C and our V's. B's and C's, that's a variable term, that's a constant term, that's a variable term. I have more than one variable. I have a 4x and a minus 1x, which is going to be 3x. So I have 3x plus 12 equals 15. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. 3x equals 3. Divide both sides by 3, and x is equal to 1. Okay. Locate your expression. It's on the right. I have no distributive property. Then we have to, here's our variable term and our constant term. I have no combining like terms because I have one C and one V. So I am ready now to start with my C because I do this in alphabetical order. So I've got to do the inverse here, which is going to be plus 6 over here, plus 6 over here. That zeroes out. And I have 18W equals 22. All right, I'm going to put it in the calculator just to be sure. Plus 6, 22. There we go. Divide both sides by 18. And I have 22 divided by 18, which is 1. W equals 1.2, repeating. Okay. This is some more error analysis, and we've already done several of these on the other video. This will be on the key. I'm not going to work all the way through this one. I'm going to just let you do those, and I will have the answer on the key when I upload it. Translate the following into an expression. The product of 3 and a number minus 6. Product means to multiply. The product of 3 and a number, that's going to be 3n or 3x. We can use x. It doesn't matter what variable do we use. Minus 6. The quotient of a number and 6 is more than 5. All right, that one needs to be marked out. That's an inequality. Just mark that one out. 3 times a number increased by 4. 3 times a number increased by 4. 6, and that's an inequality. Scratch that one out. All right, now write an equivalent expression by simplifying. So we're just going to simplify these. This is distributive property, so this is going to be 8 times 3x plus 8 times 2. So we're going to have 4 plus 24x plus 16. And then this 4 and this 16 can go together. So we have 24x plus 20. All right. 3/10 times 5. And 3/10 times x. 3/10 times 5 is 1.5 plus 0.3x minus 4.5. If you notice here, I have a constant term and a constant term, so we've got to put those together. So we've got a 1.5 minus 1.5 minus 4.5, it's going to be 3. So I have 0.3x plus 3. Minus 3, sorry. 0.3x minus 3. All right, looking at this one, I have x's. Let's kind of do our little tree map like we did before. I have a 3x. I have a 5. I have a negative x. I have a 7y and another 5. So that 3x minus x, that's going to be 2x. I don't have anything to combine with that 7y, so I'm just going to bring plus 7y. And then I have a plus 10 right there. I'm going to rewrite this one with no parentheses first. X plus 3x plus 4x minus 2. When I do that, I can see that I have these are all like terms. So that's going to be 4x plus 3x plus 1. That's 7, 8x minus 2. On these, you've got to look for distributive property and combining like terms. Just like with your equations, you're looking, you can't solve this. We can't get any more, we can't solve these, but we can simplify them. But we can't really solve them because there's no equal sign. Okay? All right. So that is your study guide. And that is it. I may go back and look at some things and oops, I'm sorry, I flipped that up. I may go back and be on the lookout for maybe another video. If I go back and look over the test, I may decide to add a couple more things, and if I do, I will let you know. All right. Send me any messages if you have any questions.